Today's World Cup quarter-final against Portugal is apparently not just a replay from the Nations League last summer, it's also a replay of the last World Cup final, which Portugal won. Hello and welcome to part 10 of It's Coming Home, not that one. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, at the very least, we have a World Cup quarter-final against Portugal, the second best team in the world, Portugal. If we make it through that, then we'll have a World Cup semi-final as well, and won't that be lovely? I am taking a big risk for this quarter-final as well, because I'm doing the unthinkable and dropping Kevin Williamson, England's all-time record goal scorer, 109 goals from 144 appearances, and, to be fair to him, 3 goals from 4 appearances at this World Cup. But I want to switch to a one-striker system, and Nick Wilson has 4 goals from 2 appearances. He is in incredible form at this World Cup, including 2 goals against Spain in the last round, and I just don't see how I drop Wilson. Likewise, Stuart Thompson is going to feel pretty hard done by. 4 goals from 3 starts for him. Everything is screaming Kev play the 4-3-3. I just think it's a bad idea against Portugal. We're going to the 4-2-3-1. I think this is the system that gives us the most flexibility to switch things around if we need to. If we need goals, we've got strikers we can bring on. If we need to go a little bit more defensive, we can drop the midfielders back a little bit. It just seems sensible. I'm trying not to be one of those England managers who I don't want to do a playing Lampard and Gerrard together situation. Just because all our best players are strikers doesn't mean we should play all the strikers together. It's not about managing England. It's not about picking the 11 best players. It's about picking the best team. And I think this is the best team to get the job done today. You're all going to call me an idiot when we get knocked out. I can take it. I'm a big boy. So I'm going with Powell in goal, a back four of Hawkes, Williams, Ashworth and Hubbard, Smith and Nix in midfield, Edmonds, Potts and Goff behind Wilson up front. The other area of logic behind doing this is if we do make it through to the next round, we're then going to have a really fresh Kevin Williamson for the semi-final, which that can't be a bad thing, can it? And if that whole bit seemed a bit disjointed, that's because I got 2 separate interruptions whilst trying to introduce that team. This is the problem with trying to make videos during the summer holidays. I think I introduced the team. If I didn't, you can all see it. It'll be alright. We'll be fine. Is there anyone we recognise in the Portugal team? I don't know that we've had any Portuguese players, have we, at home? None of those look familiar. I expect nothing but a win to keep our good run of form going. I can't believe I'm going into a World Cup final without Kevin Williamson. But what would you have done? You'd have played him. I know you'd have played him. Even after how well Nick Wilson played in the last game, you'd have played them both. What about Stuart Thompson? You'd have played all 3. But then we're 2 attacking. I always remember Brazil, and I'm conscious that I don't think you watched the Brazil game because it was a friendly, and I don't think I showed you it. But we were not good with the 4-3-3 in that game. And we're 1-0 down in this game as well. So Williamson and Thompson going to get warmed up now. Can you imagine the English media as well? After doing so well for 2 years as England manager, the biggest game of my England career, and I drop our all-time record goal scorer. I mean, it's a guaranteed sacking, isn't it, if we don't go through? If we win the match, I'm considered a genius. Anything other than a win, and well, you shouldn't have dropped Thompson, should you idiot? Williamson, or both of them. Shouldn't have dropped either of them. Edmonds now to Smith to Nix. Just score. Just put it into the path of Nick. I need a Nick Wilson hat-trick today. That's the only thing that's going to stop me looking like a total buffoon. Williams now with the corner, and it falls to Ashworth eventually. Back with Williams again. Back to Ashworth. Our 2 centre-backs combining beautifully. Have I put Wilson on an advanced forward instruction? I have. That's all right then. That's when he's at his most threatening. That's what he was playing against Spain, and he was excellent against Spain. I'm basing this all on how well we played against Spain after they started chasing the game. which might be a bad idea, especially because it was a different system entirely. We did a 4-3-3 against them. Hubbard now on the right hand side. Cross comes over towards Wilson. It falls to Smith. Edmonds is there. Edmonds is there again. And Edmonds finally starting to redeem himself from that 5th minute sending off in the first game of the group stages. Remember, Paul Edmonds was our hero for the first 3 or 4 games in charge of England. He was the creative force, the goal machine. And then he kind of lost his place. Well, he did lose his place because we switched to the 4-3-3 and there was just no space for him in it. It's a massive opportunity for Edmonds today, and he's taken it with a goal. Hawks now plays it into Edmonds, who should be on top of the world, because I told him he was finished after getting sent off in the group stages. It was his first opportunity for nearly 2 years, and he blew it. And now he's getting a huge opportunity in a game like this. Let's not blow it again, eh? Smith now over the top for Wilson. If Wilson can beat his man, he's through. He can't, but he does hold the ball up nicely. Finds Hubbard. Hubbard to Smith, and Smith does score. And it's 2-1 to England on 28 minutes. And we've looked very good there. And Tom Smith, who's been struggling for fitness throughout the entire tournament, might finally be starting to get back to something resembling match fitness. And he's got a goal to celebrate with it. Remember, Smith was sensational during qualifying. He scored some stunning goals, and we just haven't seen the best of him yet at this World Cup because he's not been fully fit. But hopefully, through perseverance and playing him through his injuries, we might just be getting him back to fitness. Goff now with a very audacious cross from the right-hand side. What a cross and what a goal. That is one of the greatest crosses in the history of football from John Goff. Just have a look at the state of this. He has no right to pick his man out from where he's done that. Edmonds has done well to finish it, but I'd have finished that. That was the most perfect cross in history. That will be on highlight reels for years to come. What a cross from John Goff. Edmonds has his second of the game, and we're going in at half-time, 3-1 up against the defending world champions. I feel a little vindicated for my selection because Edmonds has been brilliant and Goff has been brilliant playing further forward. We have been brilliant. Look at the state of those stats. Portugal have some questions to ask at half-time. Don't let performances drop. That's the important thing. Kevin Williamson, I'd like to think at age 33 and with 109 international goals to his name, Kevin Williamson isn't bitter about sitting on the bench for a game like this. I'd like to think he's sat there next to me like a proud papa who's watching his boys do well without him. It's 3-2. That was poor as well. Smith didn't really deal with it twice, and Powell, I mean, you can't really blame Powell there. That was kind of all Smith. But let's just keep attacking. Goff with another cross. Finds Nix. Nix has got options ahead of him, but also room to shoot. And it was a tasty effort and wins a corner. And it's not Goff to take, it's Williams to take. Williams swings the corner in looking for Goff, but it doesn't quite get there. I don't really know why I have my centre-back taking the corners all the time, other than the fact he hits a nice corner, which I suppose is justification for doing it. Sort of. Right. Nick Wilson has not played well. I think we need to get the all-time record goal scorer onto the pitch. So Wilson can come off. Williamson can come on. Even my assistant manager saying, bring Thompson on. No. In fact, I am going to bring Thompson on, but I'm going to bring him on for Potts. No, I'm not. That's dumb. We're defending a lead. Let's bring Porter on for Potts and go to the 4-3-3 that we're still not training, that we used in the last game. So it's that one, isn't it? And then I don't think we left him as a deep line playmaker. I think we'd made him that. I'm now trying to remember what we did against Spain that worked so well. Williamson can do that. And then these two I sorted out. I need to save this tactic once I'm finished fiddling with it, so I remember it for future matches. If I get any future matches, which I might not. There we go. That'll do. Who else is tired? Nix and Smith both shattered in the middle there. I don't really want to make a third change just yet though. So we'll do that for now. And hopefully Porter can come in and just shore things up a little bit defensively, and Williamson can just come on and offer all his years of experience and goal scoring prowess. What's going on here? Are they getting a player sent off? We've gone over to the little telly. A red card for Portugal here would be lovely. With 20 minutes to go and with us defending a 1-goal lead, this would be the perfect time for them to get a man sent off. He hasn't been sent off. That seems unfair. I demand a recount. Right, Williams with another corner. It's a deep one towards Nix, but it's straight into the hands of the Portuguese goalkeeper. And, oh my word, we nearly had a comical goal. I think it was Williamson closing down the keeper there. There you go. There's that experience that we were talking about before. And Williams and Porter just knocking it around, finding it out to Hubbard. Hubbard with the cross. Edmonds was in for his hat-trick. I think it hit the crossbar. Imagine the comeback story for Paul Edmonds if after getting sent off at the start of the first group game, he got a hat-trick against the defending champions in the quarterfinals. That would be insane. Right, Goff is shattered. Nix is shattered. We've only got one substitution left. I think Goff has to stay on, mainly because taking him off means changing the tactic, whereas with Nix, we can just bring on Alistair Shaw, who's played a decent number of games already in this tournament, and keep the system something resembling something we know how to do. Goff is going to be tired, though, which means we probably need to play a system that doesn't use him in the next round, if we get to the next round, which is still a big if, obviously, with 5 minutes to go. Let's not count our chickens. We're England, after all. Right, Portugal, trying to build something up from the back here. I don't like the fact we're getting a highlight this late into the game. Hawks, heads clear-ish, but they keep it in, but then he comes back with a lovely tackle, and it's with Smith. Can we do a counter-attack? We've got Edmonds and Williamson and Goff all ahead of Edmonds. Porter picks up the ball. It's Hawks. Back to Edmonds. Back to Hawks again. There's men lined up in the middle. If we can just get a cross in. Somebody cross the football, for goodness sake. Smith beats his man. Oh, I thought he was sticking it into the top corner. Why was there no attempt from any of the three players involved in that to cross the ball? We've got the greatest striker in our history stood there in the middle. Just arms up. Is anyone going to give me the ball? I'll score here, lads. It's what I do. It doesn't matter. We're into the World Cup semi-final. I feel like we kind of did it the hard way. We were pretty poor in that second half. But my word, a World Cup semi-final. Right, I've carefully checked this screen. I don't think there's any home transfer spoilers on it. This is quite cool. Even if we don't win the World Cup, we've reached our record place ever in the world rankings, soared to a record second place in the world rankings. Our previous best was third in August 2012. So that's pretty cool. Even if we end up bottling this next game, which is against Argentina, by the way, we are officially the second best team in the world. It's lovely. Brazil are still in the tournament though, and they're the best team in the world. So even if we make it past Argentina, we could well lose against the team who are better than us. Although, if we were to win, look how close we are points-wise to Brazil. We could end up both winning the World Cup and becoming the number one ranked team in the world, which of course is the thing we all really care about. Fitness is a major problem going into this semi-final. We've got Ashworth shattered, Williams shattered, Nix shattered, Goff shattered, Smith always shattered. It's a problem. Goff is absolutely done, so he needs to rest. So on that basis, we can't do any system that involves wingers. But I'm afraid to do a 4-3-3 against Argentina, which means when push comes to shove, we're back to the good old diamond. And we're also letting Smith and Williamson... No, Williamson is back in. It was a bit of a coin flip between Williamson and Wilson, but Smith is sitting out with a view to him being ready for the final. Shaw can play there. I mean, really, Smith will come on for Nix at some point. Goff will come on for Hubbard at some point. Wilson will probably come on if needed. I mean, Wilson, it's a shame. He was poor in the last game, and that's the basis he's been dropped on. But if we were playing against lesser opposition, we'd do a 4-3-3 and he'd still be in. But as it is, we're going with this. It does mean, because we're shaking the system up again, we have got some quite fresh players. Porter, Potts, Thompson, Williamson, all relatively fresh, which might end up being an advantage. It depends how much rotation Argentina have been doing. If we've got Williamson against a tired defence, we might well do quite well out of that. But we're going with Powell in goal, a back four of Page, Williams, Ashworth and Hubbard, Porter at the base of the midfield, Nix and Shaw ahead of him, Potts in behind Williamson and Stuart Thompson. Let's get into the game. Goodness me. I'm a little bit nervous. We've already overachieved. I don't think I'm getting fired at this point, having made it through to the semi-final. But at the same point, I'm looking at this tail end of a golden generation. Certainly Williamson won't be at the next World Cup. He won't even be at the Euros. Goff probably won't be at the next World Cup. He's 27. I mean, he might be. At age 31, he might be. But there you go. We're underdogs. Let's give them the underdogs team talk. It does feel like there's a little bit of Williamson getting on a bit. But really, the rest of them are relatively young. So you could argue that a semi-final for this group of players is a good sign for 4 years' time, because the bulk of this squad actually will still be around in 4 years' time. Williamson is just one of the tail end of the ones who got to the final 4 years ago. England are a bit of a world power. It's time we won the World Cup. Shaw to Potts to Nix from range, and it bounces off the top of the crossbar. What we do need to do over the next 4 years, regardless of what happens today, is to develop some strength in depth, particularly at the back. Our defenders, I would love to be able to rest a centre-back today, but we haven't got anything in the way of backup at centre-back. I'm just afraid to do it, so we're having to play tired defenders, and that was an absolutely world-class goal. Oh, if it's disallowed, it feels a little bit unfair because it was so well taken, but if he's offside, I'm absolutely on board with it being disallowed. It hasn't been disallowed. Look at how he chips Powell here. I mean, poor old Powell is not up to this standard. It's a lovely finish, and all of a sudden we have it all to do. We've been in this situation before, though. We can come back from being a goal down. Look how tired some of our players are compared to theirs, which are less tired. I think they're probably rotating more than us, which is the opposite of the issue. I identified Nix has got to come off at half-time. Williams is broken. They've got Beron in their team. That's sad. Oh, the gegenpress has done us. I was warned. We've made it through to a semi-final with it. I just don't see how we get any further. Right, let's assertively say things haven't gone right for us so far. That seems to have pleased everybody. Nix has got to come off. He's shattered. Smith can come on for him. Swap those two over. Get Shaw being the one who runs around a lot doing box-to-box midfield stuff. The next best centre-back we've got is Paul Cook, who just isn't. I mean, he's not a World Cup semi-final quality centre-back. He's played like 20 games in the top division in his career, and he's the third best English centre-back there is. It's a worry, because I would love to be able to rotate a little bit at the back, but I just haven't got anyone. Goff needs to come on sooner than later in this second half, but we've got Smith on for now. World-class midfielder for world-class midfielder. Hopefully Smith can have more of an impact on this game than Nix had in that first half, and it's Hubbard on the right-hand side, but the highlight just drifts away from us. We should encourage our players to play a short passing play. I disagree. We're going to keep playing the way we've played to get us this far. Do we go 4-3-3 with 25 minutes to go? I think we probably just have to go for it, don't we? So to do that, we want Goff on there. And then we want Wilson on up front. Switch those two over to the sides they normally play on. Have Smith sitting in between those two. Porter's really not the ideal man to be in this midfield, but needs must. I guess we could keep Porter back where he was. Just doing what he's comfortable doing. And have Smith playing a little bit more attacking, maybe, to go and join in with the fun further ahead. Well, this is the team that is going to go for it. Come on, lads. 10 minutes of passion. It's a World Cup semi-final. We've been the better team. We just need a goal from somewhere. Goff, massive ball forward, looking for Thompson, but he's nowhere near it. And we've got goals on the pitch. We just need someone to score one. Goff, who is fresh, intercepts, beats his man, cross from deep, and Wilson! It's the most genius substitution in history. Goff and Wilson both come on, and within 5 minutes, they've combined for a goal. It's another wonder cross from deep from Goff. The more I see Goff cross like this, the more I want to bring him to home. We can't afford him, but is there a better crosser in world football? There can't be, surely, and Nick Wilson benefits from it. And all of a sudden, it's all to play for with 15 minutes to go. It's Argentina 1, England 1, a World Cup final place at stake. And Argentina are now the ones who are tiring, if you don't look at our defenders. We've got some attacking... Look at Goff. He's fresh onto the pitch and already shattered. The gegenpress isn't doing anyone any good, and extra time is the last thing we need. Can we make another substitution? I don't know how it works at the World Cup. If we can, who will it be? Smith is broken. Yikes. I guess Hawks for Page. If we can do it, we can't do it. Right, we just, in that case, we've been the better team. Keep doing what you're doing and we'll be fine. And that's fair. We have been the better team. The only problem is extra time was only going to suit one team. We've got Argentina playing in Argentina. That's the other thing to not forget. This World Cup is in Argentina and they can just knock the ball around while we chase around gegenpressing, but they're going down to 10 men right at the start of extra time. That could be significant. They've gone to a very defensive system. They just have one man up and they're narrowing themselves down by taking off wide players to accommodate the more defensive system they've now got. We've just got to go for it, I think. Smith, ball over the top. We've seen him do it a million times before. Thompson's in behind, squares to Wilson. Oh, so close. Goff now with the corner. Can we have another wonder cross? Corner comes in, doesn't find a red shirt, and we're going to hit the half-time point of extra time. Look how tired our players are. Smith, if we make it through to the final, Smith cannot play in it. I've never seen anyone with a fitness level drop that low. It's ridiculous. Just go for it, lads. 10 minutes of passion. Let's go out there passionately in the second half of extra time and see if we can grab a winner from somewhere against 10 men, but home nation Argentina. Beron's playing at left back now. That seems like a weird decision. Now he's back at centre back. They must have heard me. It's going to penalties, isn't it? I mean, we've got 3 strikers on the pitch. Penalties, in theory, suits us, but we're England. So does penalties suit us? Williamson, Goff, Shaw, Wilson, Page, Stuart Thompson. I feel like he should be ahead of Page on that list, but I'm not going to argue with auto pick. It looks like a good set of penalty takers to me. Well, England taking penalties in a World Cup semi-final. This is new. It all comes down to Powell. 1-0 to Argentina. I hate this. Williamson scored so many times for England before. The last penalty he took, he did miss though. 1-1. We're all good. Come on. It's a long time since we've had a hero called Powell. Today feels like the day we should have it again. Powell makes the save. Right. Now this is massive for Goff. He's been so good throughout this tournament, but he's so tired. Has he got enough oomph to score a penalty? Of course he has. It's 2-1 to England. 3 penalties remaining each. Come on, let's have more heroics from Powell in goal. Come on, lads. 2-2. Who's up next for us? I think it's... Oh, no, it's Shaw. So Wilson's taking the next one after this, I think. Shaw. This was the one I was a bit iffy about, but he scores. It's 3-2 to England. Come on. Powell heroics and then Wilson to score the winning penalty would be lovely. Because, again, I've got a few doubts about Page as well. But they score. Big pressure on Nick Wilson now, who was dropped for this game but came on to score the goal from open play and then scores his penalty as well. He's a big game player, Nick Wilson, and now Powell can make himself a superhero. If he makes the save here, England are going to the World Cup final, if we can make it out of this stadium, because I think the Argentinian home fans won't be that pleased about it, but we'll be very pleased if Powell can make the save. Oh my word. We're in the World Cup final. I don't know if we can put out a team of 11 fit players. Oh, we've beaten the home nation, the hosts as well, which is huge. England are in the World Cup final. and I can't fast forward to see who you're playing because it will give you home spoilers. So just know that tomorrow's episode is the World Cup final. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.